Hey everybody, welcome to my suburban oasis. My name is Soleil and I started in a zone 5B in mid-Michigan. And if you're wondering why my voice sounds funny, it's because I've had a cold for most of this week and it's kind of driving me nuts. But we are going to be out in the garden doing a tour because it is starting to pop. I did get some mulch out this week and I think you're going to love it. So let's take a look at what's blooming and what's going on. So here in the potager garden, we are still enjoying the blooms of the Virginia, which are outstanding this year in terms of the length of time that they have sustained, and as well as the fact that we haven't gotten that frost. And just look at all of the buds that we have on the irises. These are going to bloom a very light purple and smell just like grape Kool-Aid. We do have some blooms as well in the ajuga that are starting. So I'm going to take you guys out to the front garden to begin our tour. Someone asked me what happened to my lady and whether they missed it, and she is here. She is not broken. She just wasn't out yet. So we finally got her out of storage and she is in her spot, and we will be having to think of what we're going to plant in her this year. If you have suggestions for that, let me know, because I'd be happy to hear them and think about what I'm going to place there. It needs to be something that's fairly drought tolerant because it doesn't get a whole lot of water. So here's our spirea. It is covered in buds. And I expect that to bloom this week, very shortly. We've had some wonderful temperatures. Currently it's in the 60s, which is really wonderful. And tomorrow it's going to be a little bit gloomier, not quite so bright out. But we're going to enjoy it anyways. I got the cover off of this beautiful bird bath, and I don't put any water in it because it does have a crack in it. This is something I got off Facebook Marketplace for $100, and I thought it just made a beautiful visual piece of art in the garden as opposed to it being functional otherwise. So just so you're aware, I'm not leaving the birds without water. But I do have a little bit of cleanup still to do in this garden bed. It's not too bad, but it definitely needs some tidying as well as some mulching after that. Now I did come through and get some mulching done in this garden bed over here. You'll see we have some Virginia that is popping up. Lots of new blooms along this edge. And thankfully, much of it was not harmed by the amount of soil that they left here. However, I'm not seeing any buds on this viburnum this year, whereas the other one is just getting ready to bloom, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Definitely have all of the lily of the valley getting ready to bloom, and it has, I tried to remove it several years ago, and as you can see, it has really filled back in as a ground cover. It's quite invasive, so if you like lily of the valley, put it in a spot where you can contain it for sure. But isn't this just so cheery with the Virginia and the daffodils, the different kinds blooming here all together? I certainly think so. And then as we come around the corner here, we see more daffodils. The grass is finally starting to come alive. This is a blue stem grass. I wasn't sure whether it was going to come back or not. And then we begin to see our fothergilla. Our Mount Airy fothergilla is looking really pretty right now. It's just starting to bloom. I didn't even know it until we just stepped out today. So take a look at that. Isn't that pretty? They also call it a bottle brush plant. Again, this is a Mount Airy fothergilla. It has beautiful fall color and this really pretty little blooms in the springtime. But this front garden bed is looking quite good, and as you can see, we have lots of little greenery that is popping up, and those are all of the little hostas that are getting ready to join their hellebore friends. And we have some beautiful bleeding hearts that are also coming through. I do need to come through and trim this pieris from its spent blooms from last year. That will make it look a little bit more tidy as well. I've been asked what this tree is that is in front of our house here, and this is actually a green maple, a green Japanese maple. So really gorgeous. I grew it from about a 12-inch stick that I got from the Arbor Day Foundation probably 20 some years ago, about 25 years ago. And that's how big it is now. Beautiful multi-stem tree now. But as you can see, the mulch definitely sets off all of the hellebores and the hosta's new growth. I've had a lot of baby maples trying to grow themselves this year. And I've been weeding those out as I go. The azalea is finally blooming. Isn't that pretty? And let's take a look at the Louisa crab apple that weeps over here. It is not in full bloom. It was in full bloom just a couple days ago. We got some really heavy downpours the last 2 days, which has actually really helped the grass that you see that we're trying to grow here in front of it. But it definitely knocked some of the blooms off and spurred on a lot of the green leaf growth. But it's still stunning and smells wonderful. And the golden tiara hostas that are growing underneath of it are doing, oh no, these are the bedazzled hostas. They're doing really well, but I do need to come through and do some spraying. I haven't mulched this garden bed yet. As you can tell, this is last year's mulch. I need to spray my deer repellent. I haven't gotten around to that yet. It's just been so rainy and I've been sick. So you see these beautiful little pink flowers. These are catchfly, a wonderful bloom at a time of year when not a ton of things are in bloom because you have daffodils that may be going over. But these Tahiti daffodils are still doing great in this garden bed. I am still planning to move this Gatsby Moon oak leaf hydrangea. It's doing really well. I don't know if it will have any blooms this year because of the fact that the deer ate the tips off of it. We will see. But I think I'm going to move it pretty soon, just before the summer hits here. We're getting some nice new growth on the lavender in this garden bed, which is good because it was looking a little bit shabby. But I think that the daffodils just make it look really cheery anyways. And the junipers are putting on some really nice new growth. Over here in the front garden bed, most of our daffodils have gone over. That were the ice folly daffodils. But now we're starting to see the Tahiti daffodils also in this garden bed bloom. And you can see this viburnum, its buds are just starting to open up. And this one kind of blooms randomly. It's almost like individual snowflakes come out on it. It's really pretty. And then we have lots of bobbleheads starting on our allium. These are purple sensation alliums. So those are going to bloom soon. And the stunning color on the orange rocket barberries has come out even more, and it makes for a stunning contrast with the neighbors, Cirrus canadensis or redbud trees back behind it, doesn't it? So pretty. Our oak leaf hydrangea here is starting to leaf out. This is the Jetstream variety. It looks like it's a little bit behind the Gatsby Moon one. That's okay, as long as it's healthy. Our irises over here are looking great. These are different varieties as well. They will bloom pink and purple. And our crabapple over here is looking really good. It's hanging on to most of its blooms despite all of that torrential rain that we've had the last couple of days. It's both beautiful and smells really, really good. So I was able to mulch this garden bed over here, which I think makes it look really nice. Just kind of adds that final finishing touch to it, as well as sets off the new growth so well. And I love the stunning combo between that lime spirea and the darker colored black lace elderberry. Everything's looking very colorful over here, I think, which is nice to see. All of the colors are just popping. We're having some peonies come up in this garden bed back behind the spirea. We'll see how many of those bloom this year. And in this garden bed, we do have some daffodils that are still coming up back here that should open soon. So some later bloomers. It's always nice to have daffodils that bloom early, mid, and late, just so you kind of have that succession of blooms as some of them go out of bloom rather quickly. My husband mulched the path here, but we haven't mulched around the plants yet. But I'm really glad to see that our little shrubs that we planted last year, our little Henry Sweet Spires, are doing great. All of them have nice new growth on them and look healthy. So that is fantastic news. Really pleased with that. And our ferns are coming up, you guys. Check out the fiddleheads on those ferns. Aren't those amazing? We have some buds on the azalea here, which will be a very beautiful bright coral color. And the snowball viburnum is starting to open. You can start to see the buds forming into blooms. So exciting. Next week we should be able to see quite a few of those in full bloom, I think. And the burning bush has fully leafed out now. It's almost completely covered in green. It looks great. All right, let's head into the back garden, where our forsythia is still blooming, believe it or not. We have some heuchera coming up, as well as some of those autumn frost hosta. We have a Diamond Lake hosta over here. And our allium are looking spectacularly healthy. They haven't been eaten by the rabbits, so that's surprising. Last year we had quite a bit of rabbit activity on them. I didn't even know that they liked the onion flavored alliums, but they seem to. Our quickfire hydrangea is really putting out the new leaves. Looking super healthy here. And I'm loving that beautiful red foliage on the Japanese maple here. We have so much color going on now. In fact, as we walk over here, take a look at this garden bed, you can see we have some ajuga that's starting to bloom. And our incredible hydrangeas are really, really leafing out. Now I want to show you something that's happening with my hydrangeas. This happens sometimes with smooth leaf hydrangeas, where there's little leaf worms that come in here, and you have to they seal the leaf shut so that they can grow. And there'll be like a little caterpillar down in there. You see it right there on that leaf. Yeah, so you can pick them off by hand if you want to. They will kind of deform your blooms if they are there. They seem to come every year for me at this point, regardless of what type of smooth hydrangea I have. But we'll see. I have a couple other hydrangeas that haven't grown that big yet, so maybe those will be different. If you can see off in the distance, my redbud is blooming. It's so exciting to see. The cover's off the fountain. Our superstar spirea is looking gorgeous. I did trim my mugo pine. Sorry about the shadow here. And we have an azalea that's getting ready to go into full bloom here. Got to get some water into the fountain, get it clean, and get it started. But again, this Japanese maple is just offsetting from that gold mophead false cypress so beautifully. So many different colors. Now as we look at the long border, the can-do hydrangea is doing really well. I see some growth both new and old. And then back behind it, we have the Sicilian honey alliums. Or is it the honey Sicilian alliums? I can't remember, but those are getting ready to bloom. And then next to that, we have the beautiful limelight hydrangeas that we planted. And that one looks really, really healthy. Same goes for the strawberry Sunday hydrangea between these two false cypresses. We have some nice color as the heucheras start to fill out. Again, another limelight right here in between these two shrubs. And I did have a spirea over here, which I took out, which I think is a good idea because I think they were going to get crowded, but the spirea had been like gnawed on by the rabbits this winter. And here's the other viburnum I was telling you about. Just look at all of those buds opening right now. So next week probably we'll see some full blooms on this one. I love that one. Every year, just get so excited, the anticipation. But look at that red bud. Oh my goodness, finally some color. It took several years for me to grow this from a very small volunteer tree, so it's thrilling to see it now, after about 4 years, put on such nice color display. And we'll have it for years to come now. Again, all of the hydrangeas just leafing out very well, looking healthy. Have a firelight hydrangea over here in this corner behind this barberry. And we have a whole bunch of alliums that line this path, which will be blooming with the light purple blooms. These are just chives, your regular garden variety garden chives that you can put in salads and on potatoes and stuff like that. And they're really happy to grow within the flower border as well. You just have to make sure to cut the blooms before they go to seed. Everything really filling out and looking good in this garden. The sedums are starting to get much bigger, so you can actually see them. And they look really nice up against the mulch. And then before we take a look at our garden paths back here, let's make a real quick stop in the Wayback garden, and I'll take you down that path and back up, and then we'll come through this garden. Okay, well in the Wayback garden you can see we have those Tahiti daffodils that are blooming around the garden back here as well. We have the Miss Kim lilac that did get eaten by some deers, but it appears to have some buds on it, so we may get some blooms on that this year. I'll be watching for that this next week. We got some really good blooms on hellebores along this upper path. And we have our brunneras coming up along the side. Now, if you're a new viewer, this is a very wild space. I don't try to tame this. I'm not trying to make this into a perfect garden. This is just kind of trying to be a woodland garden in my Wayback, where my compost pile is, and my, hedge back here that's for wildlife. So we have lungworts that are back here that do really well in dry shade, along with the hellebores, and we have some epimedium that are coming up. This one right here is an epimedium, and we have this epimedium over here, as well as the sandy claw one right here. So those came back. Oh, there's one back there as well. And the lungwort silver foliage definitely looks good. We're getting ready to see some sweet woodruff bloom here. And as we come down the path, I see an invasive. That's this stuff right here, which I'm just going to grab and pull. This is mustard, what's it called? Mustard something or other. Anyways, I'm pulling it before it goes to bloom. We get some of those around here sometimes. But if we look back up, we can see the hellebores and the vinca blooms on some of the beautiful daffodils. And we have some of our lamium came back from last year that we scattered around here for some growth. So I'm excited to see what that does this year. Maybe we'll get some more of that. I do think that the Jurassic fern died. That was right here. unfortunately, but it was worth a try. We have our Sea Heart Brunnera, quite a few Brunneras down here. So those are all looking good. Yeah, so lots of baby hellebores that we planted along here last year are doing good too. So next year I expect us to see more hellebore blooms in the Wayback garden because there's quite a few babies that we planted, and some of these will reseed themselves as well. We do have some ferns that are coming back. This is the Japanese tassel fern right here. And we have another fern coming back up there, as well as a maidenhair fern over here. Yeah, so things are looking pretty good back here. Oh, and also an update on our boxwoods that we moved that were kind of unhealthy. They're looking really good back here. They seem to be happy in their new space. So I'm glad to see that. All three of them looking better. All right, let's head back into the front garden and take a look at our trails to the woodland. So right now, this is probably my favorite area of the garden because it is so colorful with all of our hostas that just glow in the sun. Again, we had the Ben Vernoy hostas as well as the autumn frost hostas along here, along the edge that you see with the blue and gold. So, so beautiful this time of year. They are just so striking. We have some tulips that have come back for the third year in a row. Not a lot of tulips come back year after year, but they have. Just a few. And then our Tahiti daffodils. We have a few of them scattered amongst these gardens back here as well. Getting some beautiful new growth on our pieris. I was asked about trimming pieris, and on this pieris, I did come through and trim back a sprout that was quite higher than the rest of it. And so you can trim them after they flower. That's the perfect time of year to do that. Lots of new growth on this one over here as well. So these are really filling out and happy. Our firelight hydrangea over here is filling out also with our salvias and our beautiful heucheras. And of course the bleeding heart. We have quite a few bleeding hearts throughout this garden bed that you will see as we walk through. The gold euonymus, the curly fries hostas along the edge here. And the Brunnera right here is looking gorgeous with this bleeding heart, isn't it? Such a beautiful combination of pink and blue. The lamium is going to town in this garden bed and just blooming its head off. It probably will seed itself all over the place. I'll have to make sure it doesn't climb up and over the hydrangea here. Don't want it to take over everything. Our Japanese tassel ferns are coming up here as well. It was just last night that we got a really serious downpour. And everything just shot up so much. Look how much these astilbes are filling in this garden bed now in the Brunnera. And we have the cordial canary ajuga that's starting to bloom here. Very bright and colorful. And I just want to show you what it looks like with the purple-leafed plum here. Everything's looking so nice. The grass is nice and green. We have some wonderful rhubarb here atop the stump. We have our bird bath that does have water in it over here from the rain. Underneath of the Japanese maple. come back through here. Dogwood is looking great. We have lots of blooms still on our pulmonaria. So again, I still really recommend pulmonaria for any shady areas that you might have. Shade, partial shade, part sun. It does really well. Our heucheras are starting to fill out here too, right along the edge. This is the plum pudding variety. And we have some maidenhair fern here that is just starting to open, as well as a beautiful trillium bloom right here. I was really hoping this trillium would continue to grow and get bigger and have more, but it's been really slow. It's just stayed as one bloom usually every year. So we're starting to get some of our ferns coming up here as well, our Japanese ferns. And our tiarella that are going to have some beautiful little foam flowers. I mean, everything is just really pushing itself out. Just look how golden the grass is here, this golden Hakona Chloe grass. Looks so great with that Japanese maple. So yeah, we got some of this all mulched back here as well, which really sets it off. We got some variegated Solomon seal coming up over here. And of course, more pulmonaria, which I call twinkle toes, because I don't know for sure the variety. Some giant hostas coming up. And the perennial with its very beautiful forget-me-not blooms. We've got some buds on this clematis right here starting. We haven't had any blooms on this one yet, so I'm hoping the deer do not get to this before I get some blooms to see it bloom this year. I'm very excited. We have our spot-on pulmonarias over here. Let me just come out and kind of look back upon this, because right now there are just so many blooms right here in this corner. It's just a spring cornucopia. Look at that. So many beautiful colors along here. Again, this is more of the lungwort, and after it's done blooming, I will cut it back completely to the ground because we have quite a propensity for powdery mildew here in our area. So I like to ensure that doesn't happen as much as possible by cutting them back. Lots of color still on that amber Jubilee 9 bark over there. We're starting to see the foliage come out on the hellebores here as well. Beautiful mottled leaves. And our boom chocolata geranium up here is starting to bloom. Or not bloom, but really leaf out. I'm sorry, it's such a... My head is full of, well, cold right now. It's not thinking that straight. Sorry. The half moon garden is looking pretty good. We have some phlox that are growing on the ground, the creeping phlox. So that's providing some color in this area, along with all of the new growth on everything. The lady's mantle in this is really pushing itself out. I think we're going to get some blooms on that in the next week as well. I did take a chunk off and divide it to put some more over here, and maybe I'll fill out this whole area with lady's mantle at some point. But yeah, everything's looking really good. I'm super happy with the garden right now. It's just gorgeous. And I hope you enjoyed this tour. How are you guys doing? Are your gardens finally really waking up from the frosts and the freezes? I hope so. Well, we'll see you next time.